There's a lot of energy around you as a candidate. You're crushing in the polls right now. You've been identified, at least by the media, as being the front runner as much as they try to make hay out of every single thing that comes out of your mouth.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think about all this?
Well, I mean, a couple different things. I think one part of the reason why voters are interested in what we have to say, and I'm still exploring, I hate that word, but lawyers tell us we have to say we're exploring until we're not, but exploring a campaign is because people want not only a fighter, they want someone who fights and wins for the hardworking taxpayers. And I think over the last 4 years, people have seen in Wisconsin, we both fight hard for the hardworking taxpayers, but we win, and we win without caving. And I think people want a winner, not just on the issues, they want a winner at the ballot box. We've shown we can get support amongst the base, amongst Republicans across the spectrum, and still do well amongst independents. And to win the next presidential election, we're going to need exactly that.
And balance the attacks all as well. I know
we did. You know, it's interesting. People ask, are you surprised about this? I had to run 3 times in 4 years. The last 2 were some of the biggest elections in America, 12 in the recall, and even last year I was the #1 target for all the unions, national unions, and they came into Wisconsin. Well, I'm used to the attacks. These are obviously a few more in volume, but I'm used to it.
Right, and you were attacked because you were talking about how you could handle foreign policy, especially where it concerned ISIS, because of what you endured when you were in Wisconsin. And I have to tell you, Governor, I was kind of surprised by some of the reaction to what you said, because kind of a hazard of using a terror tactic is you could be confused with a terrorist.
Yeah, it's one of those, but I want to be clear. I've said it repeatedly yesterday and again today. I was by no means comparing the people who protested in Wisconsin, even though obviously I didn't agree with all their tactics, with ISIS. That's a whole different issue. It's one in which there's no correlation, I believe. But my point was, it's leadership. You need to step up and provide leadership. And in Wisconsin, I think, not just in my state, but I think you look around the country, no other governor was tested the way we were, with 100,000 protesters, with all the other nuances that came in. It took me just not standing up, but putting together a team, listening to that team, putting in a plan, executing that plan, and getting the job done. And today, Wisconsin is better because of that. Our people in our state are better because of it. The parallel to me in terms of as a commander-in-chief is we need someone who can face big challenges, deal with them by listening to your team, assembling a team, taking good direction, and then going out and leading and not backing off. And sadly, I think that's something we're failing right now in the Oval Office.
The president now has signaled that he is going to, or that he will be willing to sign an executive order going after a specific type of ammunition. Now, this is also a big debate. The 5.56 NATO rounds, where the ammunition used for AR-15s, common defensive rounds. Your thoughts on this?
2 things. One, I'm a long time, it's part of the reason why the NRA gives me an A+ out there. I'm a long time believer not just in law-abiding citizens having access to legal firearms, knowing that the bad guys don't follow the rules, so any new law doesn't apply to them anyway, but I'm a bigger defender of freedom. And to me, if you're someone who follows the law, you should be able to have the freedom to do the things that you want in this country. We should be clamping down on the people who disobey the laws, because they're the problems out there. But it also points to the bigger problems we just mentioned a moment ago on immigration. This president, particularly after this last election, somehow thinks he can legislate as an emperor, even though the guy said, I'm not emperor, I'm president, I can't do this. He did this with the immigration executive action. He's talking about and hinting on this. He's talking about in other categories. I think that is a dangerous precedent. And certainly, if I chose to run and got in and won, I would not respond in kind. I would use the process our founders set to say there needs to be appropriate checks and balances, and we're going to use that going forward.